Hello and welcome to this Thursday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. On the show today, we share safety tips when shopping, remind you of a few defensive driving techniques, and position the next generation of farmers to feed the nation. It all unfolds right now.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 21, 2023. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has presented the keys for a new 3-bedroom unit in Clifton, St. Catherine to Shaniel Francis, who came to national attention last year as one of the victims of a land scam in the Greater Bernard Lodge development area. Her unfinished illegal structure was taken down in October 2022. During a visit to the area at the time, Prime Minister Holness committed to assisting Ms. Francis with receiving a legal structure. Now, under the government's new social housing program, she is in possession of a properly built home that has the supporting documentation for ownership.
Shaniel is there as a perfect example of equity in the pursuit of order. She will have a house that is properly built on a land that she will have her title for. And that opportunity was given to all nine houses that we had to take down, or 10 that we had to take down.
The Prime Minister says other persons are in discussion with the Sugar Company of Jamaica, SCJ Holdings Limited, which owns the Bernard Lodge property, to arrive at a solution. In the meantime, Ms. Francis is expressing gratitude for the government's help in making her dream of home ownership be realized.
Right now, I'm so happy because what happened last year, it was devastating. Now I got a second chance to own a home legally and to set it up in my comfort with my mom and my sister.
The state is closer to imposing harsher penalties for predial larceny as the Senate recently passed amendments to the Agricultural Produce Act. The bill, which was piloted in the Senate by Leader of Government Business, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, was approved with 8 amendments. It proposes increasing the maximum fine for breaking the law from $250,000 to $3 million or 3 years in prison. Minister Johnson-Smith contends that the amendments will broaden the government's efforts to combat the pervasive problem of predial theft.
For too long, have the nefarious activities of the 2-foot post, Mr. President. For too long, it has been a shackle on our farmers and a severe roadblock to the development of rural families and communities.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF is reminding the public that the use of fireworks and firecrackers remains illegal in Jamaica without the necessary permit. The warning comes from Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary McKenzie, who was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. He points out that illegal fireworks can cause distress to residents and affect the police's ability to perform their duties.
It affects persons within the community because they believe in some instances that there are gunshots and it can frighten people. It can also affect how policing is done.
If found in a person's possession, the illegal fireworks will be confiscated. However, charges may be brought against persons found actively using or selling them. ACP McKenzie points out that penalties can range from fines to community service at the discretion of a parish court judge. He's urging entities wishing to have fireworks for entertainment purposes to make the necessary applications. Jamaicans are being encouraged to use social media responsibly as they go about their business this festive season. Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay says persons need to be aware of the risks when posting personal information on social media.
Don't put every bit of information on social media, your every move, because you don't know if somebody is trying to track you down. You don't know what is happening. So we are encouraging you that don't put everything out there.
She adds that children are particularly vulnerable as they are often not supervised when using the internet.
They are sharing information such as telephone number, addresses, etc. And we also have persons who are thrown in social media, pedophiles, looking for children to target, pretending to be children themselves, and they are adults.
Director of Communications at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Latoya Halstead, echoes the point, cautioning persons against sharing their purchases or whereabouts online.
We want to encourage our consumers, especially the ones who, when they go to restaurants, they're taking pictures of the food, they're disseminating that. They go on a holiday, they also broadcast that on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. Know that this is a way for criminals to know that you are not at home. They know exactly where you are, so they know exactly what to do in terms of committing crimes where your personal property is concerned.
And finally, the Consumer Affairs Commission, CAC, is reporting that it secured approximately $22 million in refunds and compensation for aggrieved consumers between April and October this year. The CAC's Director of Communications, Latoya Halstead, made the disclosure at a recent JIS think tank.
We've handled 893 complaints. Of that number, 572 have been resolved. So we're looking at a resolution rate of 64.05%, which is basically on track for what we have projected.
She reveals that the top 3 categories of complaints received from consumers relate to electrical equipment and appliances, services, and for the first time, utilities and hardware. The CAC is encouraging consumers to ensure they get a warranty to which they are entitled when purchasing electrical items.
The fact is, you must get an explicit warranty. Now, the explicit warranty could be what is extended from the manufacturer. This could be 1 month, 2 months, a year.
Ms. Halstead explains that where the explicit warranty is not provided for goods or services, the Consumer Protection Act states that the consumer must get an implied warranty of 6 months. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
As the holiday season approaches, road fatalities continue to be at an unacceptable level. As a people, we must do all we can to prevent further pain and grief of loved ones from road crashes causing injuries and fatalities. Please do not drink and drive. Buckle up front and back. Motorcyclists and pillions, wear a helmet every time. Slow down and be extra careful on the roads, especially when they are wet and slippery. We are on track to enter the new year with reduced road fatalities, but we can do even better. And as Minister with responsibility for transport, I will continue to do my part to stem the loss of lives from road crashes. Let's make this holiday season not only a happy one, but a safe one on our roads. Please, we do not want you or your loved ones to become just a statistic. I wish you a peaceful and safe holiday season from my family to yours.
Up next, the Consumer Affairs Commission helps us to navigate our shopping activities safely, whether online or in store.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. It may be the season to be merry, but more importantly, it is the time to be extra careful with your spending as we move into the digital space and even face-to-face shopping. To advise us on how to do this is Manager of Information Technology at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Andrew Evelyn. Mr. Evelyn, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Campbell.
We're happy you could come in to talk with us today. Let's start with this conversation, which is so always timely. Remind us why shoppers online and in the face-to-face shopping, why do we need to be more careful, especially at this time?
This is the time to be merry. This is the time to shop and give gifts. The persons out there who have, of course, criminal intent, nefarious intent, would like to, take some of what you have, whether it be money or kind. And in this age of technology, use of technology, online shopping, the risks are out there, and it is even more critical that we pay very close attention. Because once you use your credit card online, you are giving up that information to a third party. Now, if that third party who receiving your information is not necessarily properly equipped to protect your information, then it could be leaked to hackers and your information could go out. But not just that. Right now, we are bombarded with ads and we're bombarded with email that are enticing us to do things like buy things that we don't necessarily need. And sometimes these are email that are specifically sent out to catch you, entice you. You click on a link and then you start entering your credit card information, and there goes your credit card information or your personal information.
Well, tell us how we can avoid that being caught into this false advertising.
Well, we have to be smart and inform the consumers, especially online consumers. So some of the first things that we need to do is to be aware of the sort of email that are sent out and not be too gullible in clicking on offers that seem too good to be true. The other thing is, if you should go on a website that you're not familiar with, you need to ensure that it's a secured website. We tell our consumers all the time to look out for the websites that start with HTTPS. It means it's a secure website. Also, you should be mindful of not giving too much information that is not necessarily needed to do the transaction, because you could give information and then your identity is stolen. So you have to be careful of that.
What are some of those websites that don't start with HTTP?
HTTPS, yes. Now, there can be quite a number of them out there, but you should be aware that if you should go on such a website, your browser will tell you. So one of the things we ask our consumers is to ensure that you have the most latest browser installed. The other thing is to ensure that you have a good antivirus software. So we recommend AVG, which is one of the more popular antivirus software out there. And they might ask for a small fee to upgrade it to the point where it can actually detect and tell you if a website is a good website to shop on or not. The other thing, which is probably even more important, is that shop on familiar websites, because you do have big name brand websites that offer almost anything. We know those names. And they have well-established security policy. They invest millions of dollars in their security and protection of your privacy. So we encourage people to shop on those websites.
They know. So tell us about the trends now in the marketplace as it relates to unsafe practices.
Well, I mentioned a couple of them before.
Right.
But we find that one of the big risks that are out there that persons tend to fall prey to are social media ads, especially those Instagram and Facebook ads. Persons will put up an ad for a particular product. We click on it, and when you go to the website, they ask you to enter some information and enter your credit card information. Then at some point they say, "Oh, we cannot process your credit card," and this is after you enter your credit card. At that point, you have lost your credit card information and you're in trouble. But guess what? If you had a credit card has a little bit more protection, but nowadays we have those debit cards, Visa debit cards specifically, and other type brand debit cards. Once you do that, then the money is taken directly out of your account. So we encourage consumers to use credit card, because if you make a report to a bank, they have the ability to withhold payment to that vendor, which is very important.
Yes.
So try and use credit card, or try and use a third-party payment application like a PayPal, which will stand in between your credit card and a potential bad vendor.
This has been Get the Facts, and our guest was Manager of Information Technology at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Andrew Evelyn. And thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you next time with more useful information.
Once upon a time in a Caribbean island known for its rich culture, natural beauty, lived a group of people who were buried in piles and piles and more piles of paper. Papers spanning back to the start of time. Then came a bright idea, harnessing technology to work smarter and not harder. The government of Jamaica is improving its operations to serve citizens better. Many services are now available online, and there's more to come. The government of Jamaica, building a better public sector for all.
This may be the festive season, but it's also the silly season, meaning there's a high tendency at this time of year for people to do things out of character that would endanger themselves and others. One area of major concern is road safety. So let's take the time to remind ourselves of a few defensive driving techniques.
It looks like I'm all ready to go, but am I really? Yes, I'm doing all the right checks to make sure my vehicle is road ready. But what about everybody else? How do I get ready for them?
Driving to save lives, time and money in spite of the conditions around you and the actions of others. But in a nutshell, we want to ensure that, we leave our destination and we reach home safely without creating any harmful situation for any other road users.
Using the techniques of defensive driving helps you to reduce the chance of other people's mistakes affecting you and your vehicle.
You must always be aware that though you might be a good defensive driver, the other road users a lot of times aren't. People will borrow your lane, people will overtake carelessly because they're tired of being in front of a vehicle that is slower than them or a truck.
The government is targeting behavioral change among drivers to reduce the country's vehicular collisions and fatalities, and defensive driving is one of the tools. Grinnell's Driving School is known for championing safe driving. Director and instructor Seth Grinnell leads us through some useful defensive driving techniques. Let's learn.
The road code says that the person who arrives first should be allowed to go first, assuming that everyone now, of course, comes to a stop at the stop sign. We'll creep to our line of vision to see if it's safe to go. I'm going to make a right turn and then I proceed. Using the cover and scan technique, when approaching an intersection, we usually want to shadow our brake, but most times what we do, we toot our horn, we don't slow down because we believe the horn will stop the person's vehicle pressing their brake for them. That's not the technique we should use. So when the light turns to green, we wait at least 2 seconds. Then we scan our intersection, ensure no one is running their light, and then we proceed safely. All right, so we're on Hope Road, and this road slopes slightly downhill. So it's very easy for you to gather speed without even knowing. Now the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour, but I can promise you, I am going 50 now, and you realize that people will be passing me with ease. Now, one of the biggest issues here is that people always crash into the wall right at waterfalls there. Now, there are adequate road signs. We can see the road signs, the backdrop, which speaks to caution or warning, and the left arrow bent like that means left bend. So caution, left bend. Now, if you do not slow down, there's even a recommended speed here, I promise you your vehicle will only try to go straight. You will not be able to maneuver the bend, and the wall shall meet you. So the road signs should be adhered to.
Eager to learn, we quizzed Seth some more about other defensive driving techniques and how to deal with the narrow roadways, especially in rural Jamaica.
Bumper-to-bumper collisions is one of the highest crashes that we have, especially in built-up areas. Within Kingston, we have a lot of built-up areas, people who are late, people who are impatient, and the closer you are to the vehicle in front of you, the more likely that if you are distracted, if you aren't really aware of the situation, you'll end up into the back of the vehicle. Even a sneeze. Because when you sneeze, sometimes you jerk forward and before you know it, in someone's trunk. A lot of times what happens, you might be peacefully going about your way. Someone bad drives you, and then they give you some choice words, you know, the body language, and you believe that you have to meet them in kind. You just have to let it go. It doesn't positively impact your driving. A lot of times it leads to you taking unnecessary risks. So you want to take extra caution, use up your horn to alert the road users in front of you that you are coming and that they should hold their side of the road and so forth.
There are many ways to deal with the far too many lives being lost on our nation's roads. Government's enactment of the New Road Traffic Act is helping to actualize the transformation by issuing harsher penalties for road safety breaches. Defensive driving puts the driver in the seat to save lives. With more calculated efforts and responsible actions, it protects the most vulnerable road users and benefits all without a cost.
As we come to the end of 2023, let me wish the men and women of the security services and their families a satisfying and happy festive season. I wish to extend my personal gratitude and thanks for the hard work and commitment they have shown in serving the people of Jamaica.
Let's head over to Shortwood Teachers College, where young people are being positioned to feed the nation.
Our future is being planted and nurtured in a school known for producing long-serving teachers for our educational system. But before getting in the classroom, a teacher first has to grow through real-world experiences and purposeful integration of theory and practice to develop the habit of teacher-like thinking.
We believe in the development of the wholesome man at Shortwood, and this activity will help to develop that wholesomeness. So they'll be exposed to skills and competencies that they can take away and that can complement their teaching career as they leave this noble institution to go and serve the world.
And to serve the global community, the understanding is to know the practice of planting, reaping, and waiting for harvesting, a skill that, while challenging, leads to patience.
There's no success without challenge, and you have to overcome it at some point in your life. It is good to set yourself a goal. Do not let any individuals, direct you off that path with negative thoughts. So it is best to just keep focused on one thing, and then you just see where that goes.
Also, your input influences your output. This means that the more we care for the crops, the more we'll gain a greater yield.
The farm at Shortwood Teachers College is nothing new. We started a farm in about 2006, thereabouts. At that time, I should say, we did grow different plants, and our current farm manager was one of the students engaged in that back then.
And with his gained experiences, he returned to the institution to plant the seed for sustainable development through food cultivation.
One of the first things I did was to do a needs assessment. What are the vegetables that we utilize in the canteen? And so we ensure that whatever we have, we supply the canteen so we don't need to get those food items externally. Currently we have pumpkin, as you're seeing here, I have one in my hand. We have tomato, we have corn, we have pak choy, Scotch bonnet pepper, cucumber, cocoa, we have dasheen, and we'd have also planted sweet pepper in the past. We have green bananas currently, and we also have plantains.
I know that Shortwood Teachers College and the Ministry of Education and Youth, we've been strengthening our relationships over the years, over the decades. Please continue to do so. There's a lot of work ahead of us. Still transformation, much transformation ahead of us, and we are going to need our teachers' colleges to be with us lockstep in terms of that transformation.
Beyond imparting knowledge, cultivating and supporting students' growth also depends on the knowledge and abilities gained through tilling the soil to set roots deep enough for students to not only thrive, but do so without breaking.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicai.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
This is all the time we have for you today, but be sure to join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.